I spent the past year and a half touring across the country for all these clubs who've had me as a female headliner for tax breaks. It means the world to me. Most clubs I go to, people, it's the first time they've seen me, and so they come up to me and they're like, "Oh my God, Katherine, you're a woman." And I'm like, "Thank you." And and then they go, "And you do comedy?" And I'm like, "For that, I do apologize." And then they're shocked. They're like, "But you're not very dirty." And then that pisses me off because I want to, Houston, I want to be like I want to be a little rotneck thought so bad. I don't know, guys. I don't think I have it in me. I try so hard, but I think I might be even asexual. Sorry, Texas. Asexual. That's where a woman dates a man. And because, y'all, seriously, even my dirty talk with my boyfriend, I'm like, "Hey, you better hurry up with this nonsense." This is when I figured it out. I was doing a club in Connecticut. That's where your grandparents live. And after my show, this manager, he came up to me and he goes, "Katherine, will you stay for our late Saturday show?" Because every late Saturday, we have male dancers that come in. And, oh, sorry. You guys don't know what that is. Texas, sorry. I only do shows for Christians. Okay, male dancers, what is that? Your President McConaughey, he starred in a movie about it. Male dancers, it's like the Wiggles, but for your mom. And it's very interactive. Okay, so I was like, "No, I'm tired." And the manager was like, "Please, Katherine, stay." So I sat in the back of the room. I had my Cobb salad light ranch. And this male dancer, he came up to me and he asked me if I wanted to dance. And I was like, no, thank you. I'm not a good dancer. And he was like, "That doesn't matter." And then he tried again. This is what he did. He came up behind me and he purred in the back of my ear. And I was like, no, thank you. You're not really my type. I'm more of a horse girl. And then he body rolled down me and he breathed hot breath into my vagina. And I was like, no, just got off work, no more moisture. And, but thanks for the UTI risk. Thank God my salad has cranberries. And then he dropped his drawers and out in a banana hammock came, I was like, "Well, there's the horse in ya." And then it just swayed to the beat because he wasn't white. And he goes, "Sorry, that part's redundant. I'm sorry. And he goes, "You can touch it." Now, hear me out, Christians of Houston. Listen, usually I wouldn't have touched it either, but I know, it's in that moment, I saw myself in him, you know? I was just like, I get it. I'm like you know, I'm a nighttime entertainer too who does crowd work. And you know, sometimes when I do crowd work and the crowd doesn't want to participate, I know that sucks. So out of respect for my fellow artists, when he said, "You can touch it," I just yes and him. And this is what I did, y'all. This is what I did. I go, "Okay, here I come." And I just grabbed my 2 front pinchers and I just went. And I just itsy bitsy spidered his water spout. But and I never even looked at it. I looked him in the eyes the whole time. Like I was trying to guess a mystery item. What is it, a flute? Well, now it's a kazoo. So anyways, I say all that to say, I have a boyfriend, and I know, it's very serious, guys. We live together, and I know he believes in me because he makes me pay rent. I haven't been promoted yet, that's proposed to, sorry. Because no matter how much I squeeze, he still pulls out. And that's not a dirty joke, Houston. That's a clean joke. My Catholic grandmother told me that. She said, honey, when you find a good one, you hang on to him. And she was so good at it. She had 10 kids. She was so much more athletic than me. She always stuck the landing. I don't know. My friends are, I don't know, I think they're more athletic than me too. They're all getting promoted. I've been a bridesmaid 14 times, guys. And I know, I had to go on these bachelorettes. I'm so poor. Is there one right now? This is a weird time. This is a weird thing to do on your bachelorette. Is it a second marriage? I mean, it's fun. I like it. I like it for you. But you're at a comedy show in an attic on a Friday night. It just kind of feels like you're like, we spent a lot on the first one. Maybe we scale it back. Maybe instead of strippers, we listen to a woman talk for an hour. And that's sad, you know. But maybe you'll nail it on the third one. Sorry, I did mess that up. I'm sorry. I know we're not supposed to say maid anymore. I've been a bridal intern 14 times. You two get me. I was on one of these employee retreats right now, and before the big conference. Yeah. This happened recently. I will say, also, by the way, this trip that I was on, it happened like every bachelorette happens. Okay, first of all, every trip starts out, everyone's very cordial, everyone's very, very polite. They're like, no, I love your bangs. And then... and then everybody gets triggered after a certain point. You know, for me, it's always the morning after drinking. You know, you're so hungry, right? And you're at brunch, you're ready to chow down, you know. And the girl before you, all of a sudden, she starts to decide she's not going to be herself anymore. You know, this is the day. She's going to be good, you know. Oh, you're going to be good now, Mary Page, huh? Now? Yeah, you think you can be good now? And she goes, I'm just going to have a summer salad, but could you take off the food? Replace it with wind. That's extra. I'm okay with that. We, as women, then we get order guilt. So we all order itty bitty little salads, right? And then we all just, we all have to pretend. No, it's exactly what I wanted. I can hardly finish it. I'm so full on friendship. And then we go home. We have closet pasta. So, and I should say, guys, I don't mean to sound like I'm anti-brunch. I'm not. Listen, I love doing comedy. I love this, but my passion is drinking in the morning. I love brunch so much. I always leave brunch inspired. You know, I remember I was at brunch recently, and I was with a bunch of girls, and I remember this one girl, she was going on and on about herself. I hate her so much. She's my best friend. And I looked past her, and I could see my friend Caitlin, and I could tell she was really drunk, because her name's Caitlin with a Y. She was that kind of drunk, you know, where like her body was with us, but her eyes were back in Nam. she asked me to go to the bathroom, how girlfriends ask each other to go to the bathroom, right? She like leaned over, she was like, hey, would you, and she puked in her hands. I was like, well, I have to pee too, how'd you know? So we high-fived, and we went into the bathroom at the same time, and we came out at the same time. But she was wearing a romper, a one-piece thing, right? And it had a long zipper in the back. And y'all know, if you've ever had a long zipper in the back, to get it up by yourself, two-handed job, right? One hand holds the fabric secure, other one zips it up. But here's the thing. Caitlin didn't have two free hands. She was holding a drink on one of her hands. But was Caitlin gonna put that drink down? Was she gonna hand it to me? No, you're right. She doesn't trust anybody, you know? How could she? She's been drafted before. So, this is what this DIY bra did. She didn't even say anything. This is what she did. She just turned back around. She went back into the bathroom stall and she kicked open the door, right? And then she climbed up on top of the toilet seat backwards, right? Kept the door open and looked in the mirror. And with her one free hand, she just karate chopped that romper into her butt crack. Do you understand what I'm telling you, Houston? Sorry, we should get it for the discount tickets over here. They never get an up-close pic of this. Okay, here we go. Should get it for the deacons and the pastors over here. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Her butt was like, I got you, girl, and she just zipped that mofo up. Then she dismounted and did a one-leg twerk to free her Grand Canyon from its cotton harness. And she looked in the mirror, she fluffed her pillows, and she walked out. And I was like, women can do anything. Later on this trip, we're at this party cove. There's a lot of boats there. Everyone has rented out their own boat. We're at the beach. Remember your first one? And right, and there's like a bunch of people there, and they're drinking. Yeah. And we've got a boat, but we're a bunch of girls in our 30s now, and it's daytime, so we're taking shots of breast milk. Don't knock it till you try it, okay? Let me tell you. If y'all are drinking tonight and you have a chance to take a shot of your friend's titty nectar, it doesn't matter how much you drink, you will wake up the next morning born again, okay? My favorite flavor is Sarah. She's so good. You could just taste how good of a mom she is, you know? Oh, like a little bedtime story for your tum-tum right here, yeah. Oh, I should say, do not try Christine. There's something about Christine. You can tell she still does cocaine. So anyways, okay, so I'm on this boat, right? And I'm feeling a little tipsy because Sarah forgot to pump and dump. And we look over, and there's another boat full of a bunch of girls, and you could tell they're on a bachelor trip too. But you could tell they were younger. Because they're in their bikinis. And they're taking selfies and their whole body is in the picture. At a certain point as a woman, you don't take a full body bikini picture, okay? At a certain point, at a certain age, when you line up for a beach pic, everybody lines up, we treat it like a loaf of bread. The ends are the worst. And we'll go, waist up! And then we'll slowly start backing into the ocean till about right here. There we go. Try one more. Yeah, there we go. Mary Page is like, I like my bangs in that one. But these girls, they're much younger, okay? And this was insane. They had this giant raft, and they like started wrestling each other on this raft, right? Trying to knock each other off till one girl's left, and then that girl got to be the bride. And these dudes are swimming by, and they just notice a bunch of girls wrestling in their bikinis, and they're just. Short-circuiting, right? They've never seen anything like that because they're from Shreveport. So. They've only seen their moms do that. One guy can't even handle it. He's like, oh my God. He's like, this is like Girls Gone Wild. He's like, take your tops off. And that's when I got offended. I was like, hey, why didn't you ask us to do that? No, he didn't have to. We were already bumping. And then he heard me, so he noticed us. Then he clocked that there was 2 bachelorette groups. So he goes, hey, why don't your bride fight their bride? And then all the guys were like, yeah! And then the water got all cloudy. I'm like, what is that? Oh my God. It tastes like Christine. But our bride, she wasn't having it, right? She's elegant. She's from North Carolina. She goes, no. She goes, I won't fight. She goes, but I'll offer up one of my maids. And then, of course, she just pointed to me because I don't have kids or eyelash extensions. I should tell you guys that joke used to be hair extensions, but whatever. So I was like, God, I don't want to do this. I'm in my 30s now, but you're a bridal intern, so you gotta do what the boss says. So I just had to get on this raft and just Mortal Kombat square up, just across from this 20-year-old feral cat. He's just this scrawny Rachel, foaming White Claw at the mouth. I'm a marketing major. My phone's dead. Do you have a charger? Sorry, I'm a Leo. It was one of those moments in my life. We've all had this moment where you see somebody younger and then you realize how much you've elevated as a person. I was just looking at her like, bitch, I used to be you. Do you remember in your 20s when you didn't eat because you were trying to stay scrawny because you're trying to find a mate, because you needed shelter, right? You didn't want to live with your 17 roommates anymore, But I was like, now I'm good. Now I live with an accountant in the suburbs. We got an Instapot. You're not horny anymore. You don't have to pretend like you like butt stuff anymore. Now it's all like prepared. You got sexy time circled on the calendar every other Tuesday. He comes home, you clock in, you do your 3 positions, you clock out, you're like, whoa, 4 minutes, 12 seconds. That was a long one, yeah. We're gonna have to use the massage gun tonight. So anyways, I was like, I've been out of the game. She's gonna take me. Sure enough, I had to square up, right? And when they said go, she lunged at me. But then she slipped off me because she's still in her 20s and wears tanning oil. And I'm in my 30s now, so I have SPF 90 and Botox in. So I didn't move a muscle. When I just got her in a headlock and I just whispered, forgive your father. And She slipped on her tears and fell in. I don't know. Maybe I grew up a little bit sheltered. I think I was one of those kids that played by myself. I had a big imagination. I grew up in Kentucky. I was around horses. I always wanted to be like a cowgirl, right? But my cousins always made fun of me because they were a lot more country than me. They said I was a city kid because I grew up on a cul-de-sac. And I will say, though, we had different childhoods. Okay, the biggest difference between a country kid and a city kid is the country kids, they grow up with farm animals, right? And they're a lot more exposed to the circle of life. Like, city kids were a lot more sheltered. Like, when we have a pet, we put we'll put a little sweater on them. Oh, isn't that cute? Oh. And country kids, they put butter on theirs. And they eat it, okay? Country kids, they see death before breakfast. And then they have that death for breakfast. I remember even recently, I went to my cousin's farm that she's raising her 3 kids on, and I was talking to Knox. That's her oldest kid. He's 6. He's telling me how he's helping his daddy with the baby calves. And I was like, well, that's so cool, Knox. What are you doing? You helping feed bottles? And he goes, no, I gotta throw rocks at the buzzards. Because when the calves are born, the buzzards like to stroke around up top, and then they dive down and they peck the calves' eyeballs till they can't see no more, and then they can't nurse, and then after a few days they starve to death. Then the buzzards get to eat them for supper, so I got the rocks to the buzzards because Daddy says the government won't let us shoot the bastards. I was like, yeah, I get it. No, I did the same thing, man. When I was your age, I had to feed my gerbil, so. And one time it disappeared, and my mom was like, don't worry, just gotta shed its winter coat. And sure enough, next day it reappeared, a whole new color. I had this like little brown boy gerbil. Next day, white girl rabbit. What's up? I'm telling you, these country people, they are so much more at ease with death. I even remember when I was 6 years old, my parents took me to the Kentucky State Horse Park for my birthday because I was obsessed with horses. You got to go. It's in Lexington, Kentucky. There's horses you can pet. There's horses you're not allowed to pet, but you can look them in the eyes and cry. It's Disneyland for middle children. I'm so excited. I'm 6. My birthday party, right? I'm standing outside the front of the park, and I'm looking at a statue of a famous racehorse named Man o' War. When all of a sudden this hillbilly fairy shows up out of a tobacco cloud. He looks like Tinker Bill, and he leans over and he goes, "Oh, Man o' War down there." And I was like, "Whoa." What? And he goes, "Oh, Man o' War down there." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend." And he goes, "No, the whole Man o' War is buried down there." He goes, "Usually when horses die, we gotta chop them up." And I was like, "Oh, I'm 6. I know I'm a big kid now, but this is day 1, so that's a lot to take in." And he just doubles down. He goes, "Usually we cut out the heart and the hooves and just bury that. Represent spirit and the speed." And I was like, "Oh, did my mom hire you for the party?" I go, "What do you do with the unicorn?" He goes, "What?" I was like, "Well, the magic part." And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have a girlfriend." And the thing my country family is most proud about me for is not selling out theaters. I see you. It's a rat. My demo. Don't get the ceiling in this shot. No, I'm very rich. I'm very successful. This is actually just a fundraiser so that this 2,000-seat theater can finish their roof. I get to go across the country and open up for David Spade as his body double. We booked a private gig. So he got for himself and all his openers, he got us a private jet. And I was so excited because I've flown fourth class my whole life. I'm like, oh, I've never ridden on one. So I get on this private jet. I have to take a private tinkle. And I don't know if you guys have been on, no, you haven't. You're here. Anyways, okay. But I can't find the bathroom because there's no sign. So all of a sudden, the pilot comes out and he kind of scoffs at me. You know, like the valet scoffs at you when you show him how you get in through your trunk. And then he points to this velvet bench that I was sitting on. And he lifts it up and he goes, we hide the toilet seat underneath. And it blew my mind. I was like, what? That's some rich people Hunger Games shit right there. I was like, my people, we don't have the toilet. We come from a land called Coach. And we have signs because we eat solids. And I started spiraling. I'm like, we even play games with our potties, okay? So I'm from a land called Louisville, Kentucky, where they have the Kentucky Derby. Has anyone ever heard of it before? Okay, low red, okay, front row. Okay, so what it is, if you don't know, it's this fancy event where wealthy people, they watch these animals run around in circles, you know, and after every race, you can see some of them freaking out. Oh, shit, because they just lost their son's college fund on an animal named Buckle Up Buttercup. But at the Derby, they don't let us hillbillies in the stand. They corral us in the infield, right? So we're there watching the horses race, and we get FOMO. We're like, oh, I want to do that. Hold my moonshine. And so we have ourselves something called porta potty racing, okay? Do y'all know what porta potties are? I want to make sure. Okay. You never know. My tickets are expensive, so, you know. Okay, so what porta potty racing is, if you don't know, porta potties, they're, I just remember the first time I saw a porta potty, I didn't know what it was. I just saw people like lined up and they were so excited to get inside, you know? They were like, oh my, hurry up! And I was like, oh my, what is in there? 'Cause I grew up very Catholic, so I thought they were little confessionals. Because people they looked so worried before they got in, you know, and then they got out, they were so relieved. So okay, so porta potty racing, what you do is you find a line of these guys, okay? That's a God-made landmark. You can read about it in Genesis. And and you go up to the first one in the line, and you ask a man to help you up to the very tip top of it. And he always does, because you have a sundress on. And then, oh, he looks just like you. I knew, okay. Now I clocked you. Okay, and then the name of the game is to try and run across the top of the porta potties without falling in. It's like the floor is lava, but worse. Because it's human lava. Do you get it? Listen, if you fall in, you're going to wish it was real lava, all right? You would just die, but you don't. And then you just have to remember it at Catholic Mass the next morning. Now, if you get pretty far and you haven't fallen in yet, then there's dudes on the ground that are gonna get excited, you know, because now you're their redneck ninja warrior. They're like, oh my God, she's really doing it. And they can't help themselves. They get so excited, they'll throw full beer bottles at your head, because that's how their dad showed them they were proud. And then if you dodge all the bottles full of love and you make it to the very end, then you get to get arrested. And then you get to go to jail. And you get to talk to your dad again. Anyways, I said all that to the pilot. And he was like, You belong on Frontier. It has been a wild adventure this year, like touring, and it's been crazy. I will say, like, I'm a different person now. You know, like I've gone everywhere, and I know I kind of seem like one of you, but I'm not. I know I seem like, oh yeah, I grew up around country people, and I did, but I'm just different than you guys now, and I feel like it's probably where I'm gonna lose you. You know, you're like, I like her because she's relatable, but I'm so rich now. No, I have so much money, and I'm about to brag on it for a second, and I know we shouldn't talk numbers, but I just bought a brand new 2013 Mazda. Yeah, maybe some of you work hard, you can afford one too, okay? Can I tell you guys? When I went to go look at the car, first time ever looking at a car, I'm looking at it, there's another adult couple my age looking to buy it. I'm like, oh, good for them, they've made it too. But they tell me they're thinking about buying it for their teenage daughter, and I'm like, oh, okay. That just got embarrassing, yeah. I was like, grow up, buy your own car. So I tried to deter the dad from buying it, but I was honest with him. I go, listen, you don't want to buy this Mazda for your teenage daughter. I go, I had a Mazda when I was growing up, and there's a lot of room in the back. He goes, is there something in your eye? I'm like, what? This is true. But it wasn't me back there. It was my friends back there with their boyfriends. Sorry, okay, it was my friends. They're always like, don't say boyfriend, Katherine, don't put a label on it. It was my friends back there with their high school volleyball coaches. Okay, sorry, I messed up. Did you coach? Okay. And my friends, they were cool in high school. I wasn't that cool, but they would have me hang around because whenever they hooked up, they needed somebody on lookout, and I was available. And then they figured out they could just hook up in the back of my car while I drove around, you know, because there's the girls in high school that got around, and then there's just the girl that got them around. So it's fine, I do comedy now. But I remember the first time my friend asked me to do it, she was like, will you drive us? And I was like, that's fine, you know, just let me know where to go. And so Kirsten was in the back, and she was like, just don't stop, I'm almost there. And I was like, well, it's a cul-de-sac, so I left or right, yeah. And she just said it again. She's like, I'm almost there. Yeah. And I was like, where, bitch? Yeah. But anyway, she never got there. You remember high school. Yeah, we wasted so much gas that summer. Just trying to get there. I remember while they were hooking up, they would ask me for privacy. They would be like, please, Katherine, we can hear your heavy breathing. And so while I'm driving, I would just have to scoot my driver's seat all the way forward and then lean it all the way forward until my chin's on the wheel, right? And I didn't play volleyball, so I don't know what kind of drills you taught these girls. I don't know if they were doing burpees, I'm not sure, but eventually while I'm driving, they would just start hitting the back of my driver's seat over and over and over again till it got kind of weird, you know, because like now I'm grooving along with them. I'm like a dance mom. I'm behind the scenes, but I know all the moves. I'm asexual now, but I swear I used to have threesomes. I swear to God. I was in the driver's seat, yeah. My parents knew that I snuck out because I have the Mazda logo imprinted into my forehead. So anyways, I said all this to the salesman, and would you believe it? He showed me. You guys are not even the 2013. It has something called a back it up camera, and I was like, they can watch now? I was like, well, no. Kids these days, you know. I did not need the visuals. The neck pain was enough. My friends are so much, you know, more sexual than me. So they're even getting married twice. And the weirdest thing is like, we're in our 30s now, and my friends, they're going on their bachelorette trips for their second marriage, and they still want to go to Miami, and I'm like, all right, yeah, let's get one more disease. it's so weird. Like, they'll want to go to a club, but I'm like, but you're a country music fan, but I guess this is like my friend. This is her last chance to grind with Ricardo before she marries Rick, Pops out her Henry that soaks all the hope out of her tits. I get it. So this is what'll happen, right? We have to now get into the club. This is our bride. This is her last dying wish before her next marriage. And so we can't risk, standing in line all night and then maybe not getting to the club. One of the bridesmaids should be like, don't worry, guys, I got you. I'm going to text the club promoter. And we're like, what? Stephanie, how'd you get his number? You're a mother of 4. And she's like, shut up. I manifested it. And then she'll text him and she'll be like, hey, Ricardo, I'm with a bunch of hot girls. We want to get into your club tonight for VIP, which means you skip the line, you get VIP service, right? And then he'll text back and he'll be like, you can't see him, but you know what I mean? You can like hear a crunch through the phone. You're like, what? Why is there a Doritos bag in your crotch? And he'll be like, I might have one VIP spot left. Send me a picture. And what he wants a picture of the group, right? To make sure his VIP spot's looking tight, And we know that too. So we know we got to deliver in this picture. But here's the sticky situation, Houston. We're working with a select roster of girls. You pick up what I'm putting down right now? These are girls, that the girl picked to be her bridesmaids. They've been influential in her life. They've been good girls to her, but some of them, they're just good girls. So we have to put our first string in the front row. And then some of us find out, we're middle row girls, right? And that hurts. But listen. But by the way, in this situation, I'm not a front row girl either, okay? I'm a middle row girl, okay? I'm front row if we're trying to sneak into a Purina dog show. That's me, okay? You can buy that. My baby's about to go on, I gotta glue fur extensions onto her. So that's me. But a club front row girl, that's a girl with some peaks and valleys to her, right? That's the girl. When you're with her, you can hold on to more than just memories, So those girls, they got to play offense, right? Make sure their personalities shine. And then us middle row girls, now we got to play defense, and we got to box out that one girl into the shadows. Because listen, Rebecca, your big heart, it's not going to get us into the club tonight, okay? But she doesn't realize it, though, because in Huntsville, Alabama, she's an 11, but in Miami, she's a bouncer. I know. I'm not that great in a club either. Listen, again, like I said, I love doing comedy, but my dream was to be an exotic dancer. But I realized that dream had to be squashed early on. I remember even my first dance with boys, right? I realized I can't really twerk. When I twerk, it feels like it feels violent. It feels like I'm trying to stab you with my whole body. I remember my first dance with boys. It was a middle school mixer. I was ready. I was like, these boys, they're not ready for these double A's. I'm about to rev them up. And then I got there and I realized all the cool girls were wearing something different than me. They all had on some like Abercrombie and Fitch. They had a little 10-point buck, right? That little right here. I didn't have that on. What I had on, if my mom was gonna splurge, she'd take her Kohl's cash. And she'd give me some like knockoff American Eagle. You know what that is? Like I had a little eagle right here, but if you look closely, there was a squirrel and its talons. So I'm at this dance. I'm in my dead squirrel shirt, and there's a DJ there, right? And he starts playing Lil Jon. That's rap music, Texas. It's like Mumford and Sons, but faster. You know, Lumineers has that song that's like, hey, ho. Rap music's like, hey, ho. So it's different, but the same. So DJ, he starts playing Lil Jon, right? And then all the cool girls and their Abercrombie and Fitch, they rush the dance floor and they start twerking, but very stiff because we were white Catholics. So just picture a litter of scared golden retriever puppies out there. More bones than meat, you know? More clanking than clapping. And I've never seen twerking before in my life. Oh, this is the first time. The only other dance I'd been to before this was a father-daughter dance. They didn't have that there. I'm not from Lubbock, Texas. So. Some of you are. Some of you made it out. I'm just studying them, right? I'm watching the girls do a little mating call. Ooh, what's up? Ooh, 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 coach. What's up, coach? Ooh. And the males will come up behind them, and then they just fit together like a little puzzle piece. And they do that little standing up night dance. You know what I mean? You've seen Animal Planet before, right? And as I'm studying them, I'm by the water fountains, right? As I'm studying them, this little bottom feeder comes up behind me, and he just... And I could taste his mom's beef stroganoff through his braces. And I was like, I think I'm gonna give it to him. I think I'm about to lose my virginity. But listen. But here's the thing. I'm very white too. To me, a beet is just a vegetable. So it gets a big laugh in Atlanta. I feel like some of you are like, what else is it? I don't have time. I can't. So, but I just remember like thinking I could twerk. And this is what I did. I shimmied on up to this young gentleman, and then this is what I did with my body. I just mimed the words with my body. I just went to the window, and I just did a tight little square, and then to the wall, and I got real stiff. And then the whole time that boy's pelvis just had a hard time guessing where I was headed to next. Until eventually he had to detach so he could puke from motion sickness. And that is that young man's coming out story. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Houston, Texas. Thank you. I was very Catholic. I went to Catholic middle school, all girls Catholic high school. My favorite color is plaid skirt. One bread, one body. Favorite Backstreet Boys song. Okay. But us Caths, we had this little book called the Bible, and inside there were little fairy tales. And I remember even when I was young, some of the stories really tripped me up. Sometimes there were stories in the Bible about how God would use one person as a pawn to teach another person a lesson. Right? There was a story that always tripped me up. It was about a man, his name was Abraham. What's up? And what's up? I'm Abraham. I'm 482 years old, and I'm running for president. And I'm just kidding. I don't know what you did back then. Maybe Pharaoh. I'm not. But he really wanted a son, right? So God finally granted him a son, and he was so pumped. He's like, what's up, son? And what? He loved him, right? But then one day God showed up, and he was like, Abraham, if you really love me, you'd slay your only son for me. And this is back in the day, so slay's not good yet. Okay, this is not Pride Week slay, Texas. Okay, this is your grandparents' Good Friday slay. Okay, this is like, no, don't slay. You know, it's like, no, you better not slay, girl. It's not good. And Abraham doesn't want to do it. He's like, no, it's my kid. But he's like, all right, God, anything for you, babe. And so he's like, how am I going to do this, right? So he goes to his son. He's like, hey, son, I have a great idea. Let's go camping. And so then they hike up to the top of this mountain, right? And they get up there, and Abraham's like, oh, my God, what is that, an altar up there? What are the odds? Oh, my God, I'm literally dead. How long has that been up there? Oh, my God, climb on it. See if it's sturdy. And then right before Abraham's about to slay, his only son, God shows up, and he's like, punks. Oh, my God, I can't believe you doing that. You're so obsessed with me. And you've seen Practical Jokers. So, but the story doesn't talk about Abraham's son after that, who's probably just climbing off the table like, No, I thought it was funny too. I did. I cry when I laugh. And No, when I'm happy, I look devastated. And that's how the Bible teaches us where daddy issues come from. And these were the stories as a kid that stuck with me, right? And then I grew up and I went to high school and I became a Catholic slut, as the prophecy foretold. And I was dating this guy, and then I cheated on him. But I did the right thing and I told him the truth. I was like, listen, God made me do it. You know, and he's devastated. And imagine it, but younger. And then the next day, my family, we go out of town for Christmas vacation, and we don't make it back in town for the big, like, high school New Year's Eve party. And we get back in town the next day, and my boyfriend calls me, and he's like, hey, I gotta talk to you about something. Can I take you out to a nice dinner? And I'm like, yeah, it's the least you could do after what you made me do to you. So we go to this nice dinner. I'm eating my Crunchwrap Supreme. And he goes, listen, I gotta tell you something. He goes, things got crazy at the party last night. He was like, I was so upset about what happened with you, and I ended up hooking up with Carrie's cousin. And I was like, what? I was like, how did this happen? And he's like, I don't know. We were in the back of a RAV4. I was like, not even a Mazda? Are you kidding me? And by the way, Carrie's cousin was this girl who used to live in our hometown, but she moved away to New York to become a big-time model. And she was modeling for all the big names, like Sears and Kohl's. And then the dagger in the wound was the next day. Now, there's a write-up in our local newspaper about how Carrie's cousin is now playing in a TV show. So I'm like, not only is she in my dad's catalogs, but now she's on my TV. So I start following her career just to make sure she wasn't going to go anywhere. And I went far away to a land called South Carolina for college. And I would ask my friends at college, I would ask them if they knew who she was to see if she was a household name. I'd be like, do you guys know who Carrie's cousin is? And they would be like, well, we don't even know who Carrie is. And I would be like, yes, that's right, 1 point for me. And then one day, my college friend, she comes up to me and she goes, Katherine, I have some hard news to tell you. She goes, do you know that girl you're obsessed with? And I go, no. I don't know what you're talking about. She goes, the Whirlpool model? I was like, yeah, maybe. She goes, I think she's about to be really famous. She's about to star in this movie called Hunger Games. Yeah, so listen, Houston, listen. It's not that I don't think Jennifer Lawrence deserves the career she's had. Listen, I'm just saying, okay, maybe she's gotten to where she's gotten to because God was trying to teach me a lesson, okay? God was like, oh, you're gonna be unfaithful, Katherine? Huh? I turned water into wine. I can turn someone's cousin into a celebrity real quick, okay? I even remember what she told me. She was like, it's called Hunger Games. And I was like, okay, I've tried keto before. And she was like, no, it's gonna be really famous. She's like the hero in it. It's based off of 3 books, you know? I was like, come on. I mean, she's the hero. She died in the first one, right? Like my Lord and Savior. He only needed 1 book.